Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you back to the Void Overload podcast, episode number 12, recorded on February 28th, 2016. I am one of your hosts, Nate Dufresne, aka Natalist, and I'd like to introduce you to my co-host, James Brandt, aka Infamous Jamie, infamous underscore Jamie on Twitter. And yeah, let's kick this thing off. So we're going to start this week like we do every week. Jamie, what are you drinking on?
I have a very special. I'm drinking a Nugget Nectar from this year.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I have half a case
I
for
was
you.
going to say my half a case is waiting down there for me.
It's fantastic. I go out of my way every year to try and find it. It's a 7.5%, 93 IBU. It's a little strong, but it is fantastic.
Yeah, they always deliver on the Nugget Nectar. That is a Trogs Brewery beer. For those of you who do not know, it's a what they brew it like twice a year now. I think.
I know. I think it's still once a year.
Is it once a year?
Yep.
I couldn't remember if it was once or twice, but yeah, definitely a very good beer. I think that's considered an imperial amber, is what they call it.
Well, let's see.
Does it say on the wall? Oh, they changed their label.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it just says it doesn't say.
Yeah, I think that they may classify that as an imperial amber because it's a higher alcohol content. But I have a slightly vintage. It's a 2014 Bigfoot barley wine, made by Sierra Nevada. I believe this is a 9.6% ABV. Really good. Love this beer. It's it's a lot like an IPA on steroids, with a little bit extra malt to it. But other than that, yeah, very good beer. And I think we're gonna jump right into the news this week. So, Jamie, do you want to kick us off?
I can do that. The big one for me, I'm a heavy Amazon Prime user. I'm so glad I have Prime because if you don't have Prime, you're going to start paying $49 for free shipping, which is a $10 price increase.
Right. That's that's 15. It was 35.
15, that's
right.
14.
14. Right.
Neither of us can count. But it is a change. I don't see it as a drastic change, and I get it. I just re-looked it up. Amazon last year spent $11.5 billion on shipping. So
right.
They got to ease that a little bit.
Yeah, I was talking about this with someone the other day, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they just got done renegotiating contracts with the companies they use to deliver, whether it be UPS, FedEx, or USPS. But I mean, this really doesn't come as a surprise. They upped the price for Prime. Was that last year or the year before?
Last year was the first year I paid the higher rate.
Yeah, it's $99. So now they're upping minimum free shipping. Again, not a surprise. I remember when I started using Amazon and they offered free shipping. It was $25. Then it went to $35. Now it's at $49. This is just more incentive for people to go Prime. Like you have to order half the price of what a Prime membership costs for free shipping. If you order from Amazon a couple times a year, it makes it worthwhile. Plus all the other benefits you get, free Prime Music. I've been watching a lot of stuff on Amazon Instant Video. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But still, it's and you get some cloud storage along with that. You get unlimited photo backups, which is just, I mean, Amazon's really hitting it out of the park. They do so much right nowadays. And then with the Echo and all the money they're putting in there, well, I mean, that has nothing to do with shipping costs. But yeah, so it is what it is at that point. $49, minimum free shipping order. So next, we're going to talk about Google is reportedly working with Vizio to build Chromecast into TVs. So I have a Chromecast that I use a lot. Jamie, do you have one?
Yeah, I have one that I bought and we keep at work that gets used pretty well daily.
Okay. Um, so do you guys use it to watch TV? Do you use it for like
Primarily YouTube.
yeah, okay.
To
Um
fling YouTube. I mean, that's
I use that a lot too. Um so some of the interesting things they say here is, you know, uh, so they're going to release Vizio will release a series of new TVs that offer Chromecast like functionality out of the box. So there are two different not necessarily protocols but services that Google offers. One is Chromecast. There's another one called Google Cast. I don't know which of these that will be most likely. They're both really similar. I technically think that they may call the audio stuff Google Cast. I don't know though. That all that water's kind of muddy at this point. Um, but something else that I found interesting about this is they said Vizio plans to help customers with the transition to this new interactive model with an Android based tablet that functions as a dedicated remote control. So you're going to get a tablet along with your TV. Oh, I should say this is from Variety, is where the source story is from. Um, so it says the tablet will feature apps with many media services and also include a kind of programming guide that serves up content recommendations. The tablet will be included free of charge with some TV sets, and Vizio may decide not to include a traditional TV remote control.
I don't like that.
So what don't you like? Do you not
I
like?
like the idea of having to be able to pick your content from the remote, but
Mhm,
I have a Harmony One and
right.
it's touchscreen interactive, and you have to very specifically look at what you're touching, where you
Yeah,
can't just blindly feel and use your hand to turn the channels or anything.
right. It's like the touch points aren't exactly where they need to be, or
Right,
not
and
as responsive.
not just that. I don't know how much have you paid attention. You don't even look at your remote control to use it.
True. True. I don't. That's a problem with a, and that's part of the reason why now I really don't enjoy using my phone as my remote. Like when I use my Chromecast, I typically pick up my iPad and use that because I don't know why. I just like the bigger screen a little bit more, as well as having, um, you know, uh, a little bit more information where you can read about whatever program you're going to watch. Um,
Don't
so
don't
I
don't
I
lie to them. It's the larger thing in your hand.
use the small thing. So the tablet idea I kind of like. The only thing I don't like, it's going to be a crappy tablet. What happens when that tablet dies and you don't have a remote anymore? I could imagine, my kids with a $50 Android tablet probably. I mean, it's not going to get updated. Hopefully, like the fact that you're going to have to put this thing on your home wireless network and it's probably going to be vulnerable is all get out. Um, there's a lot of things to not like about this. Um, I like the way that's heading in one aspect, but also I think there's some things that are really going to need to be ironed out. Honestly, I think what they should do, they should drop the whole tablet thing and expect you to use your own device,
Yep.
because Cast works on iOS or Android. I don't know about Windows Phone. Um, but if you're buying one of these TVs because you know it has this functionality, you're already gonna understand that tech and want to use it and know how to use it. You don't need another device along with it, and they're
No,
probably gonna bump the cost of the device
that's
based
exactly
on that.
right.
They're gonna add $200 even though it's a $50 tablet. Um, so I did look up some interesting stats. So Chromecast was first introduced in 2013 and sold more than 20 million units uh, prior to them releasing the second gen. So there's 20 million, you know, So what was that? Probably 6 months ago that they released the second one. That means they sold 20 million units in 2 years. That's pretty good for that type of device that not that many people I think would really know about that aren't particularly techy. Um, and the other thing that I have here is this the end of Google TV? I feel like it is. Although when I was reading that story, they said that Google is also rolling out Google TV features in some TVs this year. So the difference between the two is the Vizio with the Chromecast like functionality, basically that lets you fling things to the TV. You can send Netflix, Amazon Instant Video. You can send no Amazon Instant Video. YouTube.
You can
Hulu,
fling a Chrome window to your television.
Chrome tab, right?
Yep.
Right. Although in my experience that doesn't work particularly well, but sometimes it's okay. Although I typically try to do video in that tab and it chugs. So and then the difference is that any Google TV stuff is that, so that's apps, things like that. So you have dedicated apps. I really like the Chrome approach, Chromecast approach better than the Google TV approach. I've had both. I like just in the app seeing that little icon, boom, send it to the TV. I use it all the time. I use it on my Roku too, because it has a feature just like that where you can actually use the casting feature to send it to the Roku, and I use that. I think that's all I have to say about it. You have anything else, Jamie?
Nope, I'm good.
Nope. All right. Why don't you tell us about some Activision stuff?
Yeah, this one was kind of a surprise to me. I didn't really realize how much Candy Crush was worth. But anyway, Candy Crush developer King Digital is being purchased by Activision, which, you know, Activision owns a lot. Call of Duty is probably one of their largest, but they are paying $5.9 billion for Candy Crush.
Man, that's crazy money.
Yeah, I guess I need to start developing games because that is unreal.
Right.
It says they have 500 million users across every country, making it the largest game network in the world. It's just unreal.
Yeah, I'm just I'm looking up now to see what. So Zynga. So I was looking up when. Okay, so Zynga purchased OMG Pop for 200 million. What was I forget the game that OMG Pop had. Draw something. Okay, so Zynga purchased OMG Pop for 200 million. And then didn't Facebook buy Zynga? Was it Facebook?
Yeah, it was for a staggering amount of money too.
It was. Let's see. Zynga 204 million. What are their revenue last year was 764 million. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't see. Here we go. Purchase. Anyway, I know they were bought by somebody for some crazy amount of money, and then they just tanked. And the only reason I bring that up, was because I don't know when these companies are going to learn their lesson. Once that game is out there and it's hit and it's popular, the likelihood of those companies coming up with another game that's worth anything worthwhile is you have such a slim possibility of that
they just kind of crash and burn. I mean, they burn through themselves and they try to hold out, they sell out, and it's kind of like you're saying, right. The selling point is kind of their high point, and from there it's down.
Right. So yeah, basically what I found here was Zynga had a partnership with Facebook, but that ended in 2013. But I swear Facebook gave them a hefty sum of money for that because it was just, yeah, I wish I could find that. But anyway, what else did I see about that? So yeah, some of the interesting things that I saw in that article were that at one point they were making so much money on in-game purchases that they just stopped advertising. They were like, you know what? We're making enough money. We're not going to do ads anymore.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it says they abandoned advertising as a revenue stream. So, they're like, yeah, we don't need to worry about ads.
Yeah, but a revenue stream you sold for 5.9 billion. What kind of revenue stream did you have?
Right. And it says when King, the developer, filed for an IPO in 2014, its prices it priced shares at a valuation of $7 billion and then proceeded to flop. The $5.9 billion price Activision is paying at $18 a share is well below the 2014 IPO price of $22.50 a share.
Wow.
So they're still paying all this money when the company is going downhill. And basically all they can come up with is another version of Candy Crush. I've never even played Candy Crush. I know I've played games like it, though. It reminds me of Snood. Do you remember Snood back in the day?
Yep. I never played Candy Crush. I know my wife was really into it. My brother was.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So John was into it too?
He was like addicted for a while. Wow.
That's funny. So that's all I have to say about Candy Crush. Activision, I guess they got, they have Call of Duty, so they have money to spend. Why don't you tell us about some smartwatches?
Yeah, I was just down looking in the chart on that. Apparently, data shows that Apple shipped 11.6 million Apple Watches in 2015, which is a pretty crazy number.
It's a big number.
Yeah, until you get down the list and look at the other vendors.
Right.
Fitbit almost doubled that at 21 million.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a reason. The Apple Watch starts at what? $399?
I think $349.
$349.
Either way.
Fitbit starts at like $49.
Right, they're cheap.
Yeah.
The entry level Fitbit, I don't know what it costs now, but I know it's cheap.
It's still a staggering number. 11.6 million units.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. So one of the interesting things that I saw in here was it says with 11.6 million shipments, Apple is the third biggest wearables vendor in the industry with 14.9% share of the market in 2015. Xiaomi just beat that with 12 million shipments and a 15.4% share, while Fitbit is way out front with 21 million shipments, 26.9% share. The interesting part about that is I guarantee I've never, ever, ever seen someone with a Xiaomi device, period, let alone one of these wearables. However, I almost bought one because they have the Xiaomi, it's called the Mi Band. It's a fitness tracker that from the looks of it, it's as nice as a Fitbit, if not maybe nicer, for $15. So when you're talking about, it's so cheap. Go look. They have a nice website. The thing is constantly out of stock. You can buy it through other vendors, but you can't buy it on their page because it's constantly sold out. It's $15. The thing has 30-day battery life, which is better than a Fitbit. It's waterproof, so you can wear it all the time. It does sleep tracking. It does step counting. You can set alarms on it, so it'll buzz on your wrist and wake you up. It doesn't have a screen, but if all you're looking is for a smart pedometer, a really base level wearable that adds some basic functionality to your life, I think this thing is phenomenal for $15. And actually, I'll probably buy one at some point just to play with it for $15. You can't pass it up. If you're ever looking for a Fitbit, like, this thing does all that plus some. The only thing I don't know about is what the the app ecosystem for it is like. So what other vendors they tie into, if they tie into Runkeeper or Runtastic or Lose It or anybody, or Google Fit Data, that's the part that I'm unsure of. But yeah, they're doing great. it says that Xiaomi enjoyed the by far the biggest growth with a staggering 951.8% increase over 2014. You're increasing almost 1,000%. That's crazy. But Fitbit grew 93%. I think this just shows wearables are still growing by leaps and bounds, and really there are very few wearables at this point that are really, actually there are none that are astonishing. So I can't wait until that breakthrough happens, but we'll see what happens there. I don't think there's anything else I got on that one. So why don't you hit the next one, Jamie?
Let's see, where are we at? Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
Is getting ads, and I find that very disappointing. It's one of the world's largest messaging apps. Until now has been 100% ad free, but
Right.
TechCrunch has uncovered a leaked document intended for Facebook advertiser that reveals plans to begin inserting ads into Messenger of the second quarter of this year.
Right. So I don't, it says that you would have to engage a corporation first for them to be able to send messages to you. But that's the way this is going to work. It's not like they're just going to pop up like little ads in your message stream. No, these companies are going to be able to message you. Kind of like those, spam text messages you get at this point. However, this will be in Facebook Messenger. Now, like I was saying though, the key that they say is that the user has to reach out first and say, hey, whatever. I don't know what they have to say to you, but basically they have to engage the company first. Then the company can send messages. They say that they're, obviously they're concerned about privacy and they don't want you to be spammed, but that's basically what this looks like to me, is a spam service.
Yeah.
Just
It's all about the money
in the making, right? Because they don't make enough money off of all the ads that they serve. Now they have to put it in your messaging client as well. So let's see. Did I have anything else about that?
No, it doesn't really say much.
Yeah, so it says, this ad functionality looks like it can only be initiated by users and never businesses. To begin receiving ads, a user must always be the first to start conversation. Companies won't be able to push ads in mass to Facebookers who merely like their product page. I don't know if I believe that. I have a feeling that at some point they're going to say that's you initiating a relationship with that company. Now they can send you messages. They can send you ads to your, to your messaging client.
Yep, shouldn't be just like spam mail.
Absolutely. Now it says that this could roll out as early as April, but at this point we don't know. I do have Facebook Messenger installed on my phone. The only reason for that is because I get random people who send me messages on there. People I know, but they'll randomly send me a message on there, and I'm like, I hate having to go to their web client to do it, so I have it installed. But what are you gonna do?
Use it.
Use it. Okay. So OnePlus 3 scheduled to launch in late Q2 2016, says founder. So Jamie, are you gonna get a OnePlus 3?
No.
You're in that time frame now, right?
Yeah.
You've had your phone for almost 2 years. Right?
No. November was a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I guess you got it a little later.
Yeah. About a year and a half. It has held up well. I mean,
Yeah.
I dropped it and it's taken its beatings and it hasn't broken the screen or anything.
That's surprising.
I would be interested to see the features in this. The OnePlus 2 was really a letdown to me. No wireless charging, no fingerprint scanner,
no NFC.
Yeah, no NFC.
Right.
It was
not
just
that you don't have
to get.
Right. You don't have NFC in that phone, do you?
Yeah, Yeah,
Oh,
this
that
one has
has,
NFC.
yeah. So they took it out.
Yeah, so they took it
Um,
away. No quick charge. The OnePlus 2 had no quick charge.
yeah. So a lot of things stacking up against it there. So one of the co-founders says that he hopes the new model will captivate users much like the first smartphone did, the 2014 OnePlus One. He also said that the new phone will feature a new design, which implies a departure from the predecessor, the OnePlus 2. He also says it will arrive in the US and other markets as an unlocked phone and be sold directly by the company. That's nothing different. He says the company expects to offer a better buying process. So that would, my guess is they're going to move. I don't know if they'll move solely away from the invitation. I think that's kind of their thing at this point, but they may open it up sooner like they did with the OnePlus X, where after 3 months, I think they just went, full open. You could just log on and buy the phone.
I don't
And they,
know. I think that's going to depend on supply. They've had so
True.
many supply issues with every phone that they have put out.
right. Other than that, they say that they will still offer free shipping and they're going to accept payments with credit card rather than just PayPal payments, which is what they did before. And if they want more people to buy their phones, you got to do something other than PayPal. Now, I think a lot of people use PayPal, but also it's what market are they going after? Are they going after the super techie because that's what they did with the first phone? I think they're trying to broaden their audience at this point. Now, whether or not they'll be effective doing that, I can't say, but we'll see what happens. OnePlus 3, it'll be nice to hear some specs about this phone. I'd like to see what the new design is. I want to see if they go away from that soft touch feeling or sandpaper or whatever. Whatever you're feeling, whatever your fingers tell you that feeling on the phone is. But I think that's another one of their kind of trademarks at this point. Nobody else has that texture on their phone, so I think they should keep it. And I know you like it.
Yeah, it's one of those things you either like that part of it or you don't.
Right. Your wife hates it.
Yeah.
Love
She
it.
doesn't even like to touch the phone because of it.
Right. So we'll have more once we hear more. OnePlus One is, or OnePlus is, they're great at working media. So we'll hear all this stuff the second it comes out. So we'll see what happens. Okay, on to the big news this over the last week and a half. The S7 and the S7 Edge. Man, I don't know where to start here. There's a lot of good stuff we know. So let's see. I guess we can talk about some specs first. So the S7 launches, both phones are going to launch with Marshmallow. The S7 will have, so basically, I think all the specs are the same other than the battery size and the screen size, right?
Right.
So yeah, the S7 will have a 5.1 inch 2560 by 1440 Super AMOLED. The S7, same thing. The S7 Edge, anyways, will be 5.5 inch, so 0.4 inches larger, and will have a dual edge screen. That's the same as last year. Both have a quad-core Snapdragon 820 or an octa-core Samsung Exynos 8. I think that depends. I'm not sure if that depends on what region you're in or if that is based on availability of processors that they.
It's always been traditionally what country or region.
That's what I thought as well. I wasn't sure if I was correct about that, but
Yeah,
that's
you
what
are.
I thought it was.
Normally, the Enos 8 will be out of the US.
Okay, the Exynos.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens there. I'm imagining that, the things, those are comparable processors and that everything will run the same. The only thing that worries me about that is I know I've had devices before that you go to play a game on them. It's always with games. I never have it with anything else. You go to play a game and they're like, "Oh, we don't support your hardware," and it's always because of your processor. Always. So I had that problem when I had my Transformer TF701, that Asus Android tablet I had, but that had a NVIDIA Tegra processor in it, and there were just certain like A-level, top tier games that I couldn't play. Anyway, back to it. They both phones will have 32 gigabytes of storage with expandable micro SD, which they brought back for this phone. They dropped it on the S6 and S6 Edge. So that's nice to see that come back. 4 gigabytes of RAM. I think every phone needs that now. 12 megapixel f1.7 aperture lens. Both have optical image stabilization. 5 megapixel front facing cameras. Both have 802.11 AC with MIMO, Bluetooth 4.2 low energy, NFC. I wish. So they have micro USB. They didn't go for USB-C, and it seems like the feeling for why they did that, or the reasoning behind why they did that, is so that they will continue to work with the current Samsung VR headsets. So you won't need a new one, at least not yet. But the problem with that is I really wish they would start migrating more of these phones to USB-C, just so you get USB 3.0 and above transfer speeds. I don't know how many people transfer files via USB, but man, that would be nice. So they're gonna, like I said, micro USB. They'll have fast charging, they'll have Qi charging, and PowerMat wireless charging. So both wireless standards. That's great. Glad to see Samsung doing that. The only other difference we see here is the battery size. The S7 will have a 3,000 milliamp hour. The S7 Edge will have a 3,600 milliamp hour. Both have IP68 water resistance, which I think is like splash proof, basically. Don't swim with it, but if water gets splashed on it or you drop it in the toilet, just fish it out quick. Both have fingerprint sensors, and other than that, just the S7 Edge is a little bit heavier, a couple grams, but it's a bigger phone, so that makes sense. Jamie, do you want to talk about the deals that they have, some of the pre-order deals?
They have quite a few. I found 3 or noticed 3 so far. Let's see. I will start with, if you pre-order through T-Mobile directly, you get a free VR gift pack and a year of Netflix, which they say is a $250 value. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's real good. I like that.
Yeah. If you order from Verizon directly, you get a free Gear S2 smartwatch. So that's a $300 value. I mean, that's a good one.
Right.
Probably my favorite, though, is if you order through Best Buy directly, you get the Gear VR, $50 of VR content, and triple your memory when you pre-order.
Right. So, they must be giving you a micro SD card with it.
Yeah.
Which is similar to, I mean, we haven't talked about it because we weren't doing the podcast, but that was a deal LG had going on whenever I bought my V10, which I did get the V10 for those of you who've been waiting. I got a 200 gig micro SD card and an extra battery and charger for free because I bought it in like the first 2 months it was out, which I got it the day it came out, but it's because I'm a nerd. But those are great incentives. I'm really happy to see when and the funny thing is, at this point, it's not Samsung doing the incentives. It's other companies. It's 2 carriers and one kind of multi-carrier with Best Buy.
I'm wondering, though, if you do it at Best Buy, do you get both?
Because it's with Verizon as well, or T-Mobile? I don't think so. I'm guessing you have to go in store for that, because otherwise they wouldn't Like they wouldn't have their own incentive, I don't think. That would be nice. I wonder if there's some way you could work that uh, to get both. But I have a feeling you probably have to go, unless it's just like a registration type of thing. Like, hey, plug in your IMEI and we'll send you this stuff. But my guess is it's probably in store. They give it to you, maybe. Yeah, especially if it's like a Samsung Gear S2 watch, they probably just have them in stock and give them to you.
Although the VR, as long as you buy the phone, you're getting a free VR from Samsung directly.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you
they
might
might
be able
be
to
able
work.
to pinch both. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, so the only one who's not doing the VR is Verizon. So yeah, you may be able to work it even through them. If it's through Samsung, you might be able to work something. Um, but yeah, so what do I have to say about these? I really like the looks of them. They're just gorgeous phones. I actually looked at a Note 5 when I bought my phone. So basically the curvature of the screens on the S7 Edge, that is basically if you flip the Note over, the back of the Note is the same curvature as the front of the S7 Edge. At this point, I was looking at the S6 Edge, but I really like the curvature on the back of the Note. It feels like it fits in your hand really well, but when you flip it over, you don't get that same grip. So I kind of wish they would do that curvature on the front and back, but that may make it look like kind of like an oval. If you're looking at it on end, I don't know, that could be a deterrent for some people. It could also make it difficult to put buttons on the side, that kind of thing. I really like the way the Note 5 felt in my hand. But
I'm not going to comment on how things feel in your hand.
why do you always go there, Jamie? It's not okay.
You lay it right out there.
This
Like,
is a family podcast. I'm sure people are down there listening with their kids right now, and you're talking about sexual innuendos. So anyway, there's not much to say about Samsung phones. They're always going to be good. They're going to be for iPhone converts. They're going to be for general people who want a good, reliable Android phone, but don't really want to dig in at all. They don't want to deal with problems. I mean, with my V10, I have some problems, but I know that going in, and I'm okay with that. But Samsung does a good job, and I continue to look at their products, and I'm just wondering, they're making the S7 Edge larger. What does that mean for the Note line? I don't think anything, but maybe down the line. The other thing I would like to see is the Note line with the Edge again. They had it once on one side. I'd like to see a Galaxy S6 Note Edge plus. I don't know. They add all kinds of stuff after. So, alrighty. Anything else you have to say about these Samsung phones, Jamie? I didn't think so.
let's go to LG.
LG, the LG Jizzle 5. Don't say anything. Don't say a word. See you thinking.
I'm thinking it.
So yeah, let's see.
It's a 5.5 inch.
Yep.
I mean, it's
5.3. 5.3 inch Snapdragon 820. 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigabytes of storage, micro SD expandable up to 2 terabytes, 8 megapixel front camera, 16 megapixel rear main, but then they added a second camera, an 8 megapixel wide angle 135-degree lens. That reminds me of my V10. My V10 has the 2 front-facing cameras, one of which is a Grouphy camera. For those who don't know what a Grouphy is, that is a selfie with a group, so you can fit more people in.
You use that all the time.
I use it with the boys, just because typically they don't get real close. They don't put their faces in, but also I like it because you get more more scenery in your picture. So that is useful. So I don't know why necessarily they're doing it on the back, but my guess is they like that, using two different cameras. Something else that they have on the V10 is where you can snap a shot from all three cameras at the same time, so the back and the two front. I've used it once, but that was just to see how it worked. And I think I saw that feature in a video of the G5. So what else? 2800 mph removable. I'm looking at Android Central site. I don't think it's miles per hour. I think they meant milliamp hours and they mistyped. What else? So the big differentiator with this phone is the accessories that they're going to have available. So far, we've seen the Camera Plus adapter, which is so. This has a This is a modular phone on the rear of or not the rear, but the bottom of the phone. You can detach the bottom and pull the battery out. It's all like one contiguous unit. You can remove the battery from it. They'll have additional modules, one of which has a camera button with a zoom and a button that will quickly move you from the camera back to the phone itself. So that they'll have that module available, as well as another one that they call the Hi-Fi Plus, which is essentially a DAC. It's a digital to analog converter for your music, with an amp built into it, so you'll get better sound quality. This is something built into the V10 that I have. I like it a lot. The sound quality on the V10 is phenomenal. The fact that you can play FLAC, like lossless music, on your smartphone is really nice. But I don't know how these modules are going to go. I don't know what any of the pricing is for them. Jamie, have you heard pricing?
No, I've seen no pricing.
Yeah, I don't think they've announced pricing yet, but I don't see an average person using this. Now the one thing, if you're using the camera adapter, you get like you can fit a 4,000 milliamp hour battery in, or maybe there's a battery built into it. I'm not sure how that works yet, but it expands your battery, basically the runtime of the phone.
Yeah, because the battery that comes in it, I hate to say, I'm a little disappointed.
2,800 milliamps is pretty low.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to go clear back to the G2, but that was the phone for battery life.
Yeah.
That's a big deal for me, because a lot of days I'm away that I can't just plug my phone in.
Right. Now, so it is a 5.3-inch screen, so you're not powering a 5.5 or a 6-inch screen.
It's still Quad HD though.
It is
554 DPI. I mean, it's going to be.
That's a really high dots per inch. I don't know what the power efficiency is of the 820. Well, also you have to think this has Marshmallow on it, and Marshmallow has that doze mode, which is supposed to, I think that's supposed to increase your battery life by like 20 or 30%. And that's of phones now, so ones that are made with that in mind. If the efficiency of the processor is a little bit better, the screen efficiency is a little bit better, it may be okay. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the battery life is like on these. Let me see if there's anything else other than that. Silver, Titan, gold, and pink are the colors available. It's not the pretty. Well, the back of the phone isn't the prettiest. I really don't like the little bump. There's a little bump in the back above the fingerprint sensor. So they kept the fingerprint sensor in the back. However, they moved the volume buttons to the side. I've gotten used to it on my V10 with them in the back. I just wish my fingerprint sensor was better. They said this one's a lot better, so hopefully, I'm hoping I get a firmware update and it makes my fingerprint sensor better, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. Um,
Not to skip back. Where are you
yes.
getting a 2 terabyte micro SD?
Yeah, nowhere yet. I just think that's the capability of the slot and the other thing too is I don't know uh what trying to index a 2 terabyte card on a mobile operating system would be like. I have a feeling it may be painful. Um, or LG sent me a 200 gig micro SD card, which is plenty, especially when my phone was 64 gigs to begin with. I don't even keep much on the micro SD card. I think I back pictures up to it just in case. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see when the reviews start rolling out of this for this. Oh, the other thing, this uses USB Type C. This is an all metal phone, so we're not going to see wireless charging. No removable back, removable battery, but no removable back and micro SD card. So I mean, you can't complain too much about it. The only reason I bring up the removable back is because that would be a way to add wireless charging. If they had a removable back, you could swap it out with a different one that has a Qi charger pad or a power mat pad in it. So yeah, anything else you have to say about that, James?
No, I'm good.
All righty. So that wraps the news. We're going to move into deals. Jamie, please tell me how you can save us some money this week.
Well, my favorite is an Aries Surfboard SB6183 modem. I love the idea of not using Comcast modem.
Yeah.
It'll save you $10 a month right off the top. I know you got to front a little bit of money for the modem. It will give you problems if you pay for phone service. You can't do that.
Right.
But they have it for $64.99, which is a great price for that modem. That is as good a modem as you can handle at the moment.
I think that's like half price from a new, right?
Amazon sells it for $100. So
okay, so not quite half, but you're talking probably 40% off or so.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to have your own router, but that's for a different podcast. But
right,
it's a great deal.
Right.
Which
the thing is, the router you're getting from Comcast isn't good. So, a lot of people are buying their own anyways to get better wireless coverage or better throughput, whatever it may be. So especially if you have your own wireless router at this point, hey, for $65.
Well, not just that, Comcast
6 months you've saved, you've saved your money.
Comcast can't control your speed the way they do with your current. So even if you're paying for the 25 meg service, with this, I'm getting 84 megs.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, because they can't they can't put on those config files to limit bandwidth.
All right.
Cool.
Next, we have a Raspberry Pi 2 starter kit with Wi-Fi for $58.49 through Amazon. If you're interested in getting into it, this is a fantastic price. It's a great kit to start with. It has everything you need.
I keep thinking about getting a Raspberry Pi. I wanted to get one to just to check the status of my garage doors. Like every day, not every day, but a lot of days, I'm driving up the street and I'm like, I know it's habit for me to shut the garage door, but did I hit the button to close the garage door? And it would be nice to just pull up an app and be like, oh yeah, it's closed, or oh no, it's not, and I can close it real quick. But yeah, and that's just one of the things you can do with a Raspberry Pi. There's a million projects out there.
All right. Next, we have a pair. Well, there's actually more than the two that I have listed here. There's a 1 terabyte external desktop hard drive, but I listed a 2 terabyte external desktop hard drive for $65, $64.99, and they also have a 5 terabyte for $119.99.
That's nice.
Yeah,
5 terabytes is nice.
That's a lot of storage.
Both USB 3 as well, which is
yep,
really important now.
They're both through Newegg. Unfortunately, they're Seagate brand, which are not reviewed the best at the moment. But
Yeah. Well, it says the one Samsung, the 2 terabyte Samsung, the 5 terabyte Seagate.
oh, you're right.
Yeah.
The 2 terabyte I would say is probably rock solid.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, very nice. I actually just upgraded my desktop over the weekend to an SSD. I got a 120 gig SSD at Best Buy for like $45. And it's big enough for, because basically all I have on it is my OS and programs, and like any games or anything like that I would install on a second disk. And it's been nice. So I used Acronis, I think is that what it was. Yeah, Acronis True Image to basically image my disk and move it over. And I mean, once I did that, I cloned the disk, like pulled out the old one, put in the SSD, perfect, like booted right up, no problems, no driver issues. So that was really nice. So that's something you still may be able to grab. I don't know if the deal changed. And then they also had 120 gig for like $65, but that was sold out. Otherwise, I would have gotten that one. Cool. So you've saved us some money this week, Jamie. I'm grateful. I'm in your debt till next week when I demand that you save me more money. All right, let's get into what we've been watching, playing, reading, and avoiding the overload for. So, Jamie, what have you been into this week?
I have been watching as much Entourage as I can find time to do without kids running around.
Yeah, definitely one you can't watch with kids around, unless your kids are probably 16, 17, maybe. And you're a lenient parent.
It's definitely not a family-friendly show.
But it is funny.
Yeah, it is great. In the past couple weeks, I'm clear up to like season 7, episode 8 or 9.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice. So I mean, we'll dip into my watch a little bit as well. So a couple weeks ago, Jamie told me about Entourage and asked me if I'd watch. I was like, no, I've heard about it. I heard it was good. I didn't know what it was. I always thought it was a like some type of drama. I don't know why, but I hadn't looked into it at all. So I was like, oh, let's throw it, because he said it was funny. So I was like, oh, let's throw this on. I'm in season 3, close to finishing. But it seemed like the seasons got longer. There's like 20 episodes in season 3, whereas the other ones I think were shorter. But yeah, I really like it a lot. And the funny thing is, I saw Mark Wahlberg is the executive producer for it. And as I was watching the show, I heard the name Johnny Drama. And I've watched The Wahlburgers before, which is like the Wahlbergs reality TV show. And there's a guy on that show that they call Johnny Drama. And I was like, I wonder if this is like loosely based on Mark Wahlberg's like rise as an actor. And sure enough, it is. So it's funny. You can kind of see some of that styling in there if you know anything about Mark Wahlberg and like how he became famous as a rapper, and just the type of actor he is and his personality. I was like, man, it really seems like this might be his rise, and sure enough, it is. So yeah, I like that one a lot too. I can't recommend Entourage highly enough. And after we finish this podcast and I get it posted, I'm probably gonna watch some Entourage. I want to get through it.
Oh yeah. It's nothing like laying in bed and my wife told me I have to turn that off because she needs to go to sleep.
You're like, we have a couch. So what else have you been watching?
I watch a lot of One Piece with my little boy, which is a manga about pirates with special abilities.
Oh man, interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard of any One Piece.
It's still being produced in Japan, I believe, is where it comes from. We're in episode like 400 and
oh my lord,
50 something or 60 something.
Wow.
I think the TV show is in like 900 episodes, getting ready to break 1,000.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's cool though. It's something he likes. Um, anything else you've been watching, reading, whatever?
I haven't had time to read.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a little, but not much. So let's see. So I've been watching Entourage as well. That's pretty much it. Although I've been watching The Walking Dead as those come out, and caught up on the Goldbergs last night. But that's the majority of that stuff. I'm gonna hold off on those other two things for a minute. I've been playing a lot of Payday 2 Crime Wave Edition on PS4. That game is so much fun. I got it recently it was on sale for like $20 on a PSN sale. Phenomenal game. If you haven't played it, it's about heists. So they're jewelry store heists, bank heists, armored trucks, art galleries, like breaking people out of places, recovering drugs, and like so you're the criminal always, and basically you have to deal with waves of police, and then you have to make your way to freedom, and then you get paid for those jobs as you do them, and then you can upgrade weapons and skills and perks, and but one of the big things in the game are the masks that you get, that you unlock, and there's a bunch of them. They have like a Barack Obama mask and a George Bush, Reagan, as well as they have, plays on masks from movies and TV shows. And speaking of The Walking Dead, they have Lucille, which is Negan's bat. They have that as a weapon, a melee weapon in the game. It's a lot of fun. And then I've been playing a good bit of Star Wars Battlefront as well over the last probably. I haven't played as much in the last like week and a half. That's been all Payday, but other than that, I've been doing a lot of Battlefront, which is really good. I'm loving that game. And then reading. I read the first couple issues of the new Deadpool series, and it's been pretty good. However, I think I'm going to migrate my way back to The Walking Dead and pick things up where I left off. I don't remember where I left off, but I want to pick that up because the TV show is catching up. It really is. So, other than that, the one thing we want to talk about briefly, because we were on hiatus when they came out, but we're gonna talk about them real briefly. And by all means, these are gonna be spoilers most likely. Star Wars and Deadpool, in that order. Star Wars, Jamie, just generally, what did you think? I know what you thought, but go ahead. Let's hear it.
I really enjoyed it. I was in that group of people that I hated the remakes, or they're not really remakes,
Right.
the 1,
The
2, and
prequels.
3. Yeah, they were terrible videos. This, I see more going back to the traditional. I really enjoyed it. It made sense. It all fell in line. Just overall great movie.
Right. And to go along with that, there's a lot of criticism about all the similarities between it and A New Hope. All intentional in my belief. Those are intentional. They wanted there to be some familiarity with those movies. They wanted you to feel that connection, and I think they did a great job. I love J.J. Abrams. Between what he did for Star Trek and now what he's done for Star Wars, man, he would really have to mess up to do something bad in my mind. I really wish he was doing the rest of them, but that's another day. I loved Star Wars. I saw it 3 times, which it just isn't enough. I want to see it again before it's out of all the. There's two theaters left showing it up here. I really want to see it again before it goes out of the theaters. Loved it. Love Ray. Love Finn. And love seeing all the old characters. Maz Kanata was a great character. Poe Dameron, I can't wait to see more about him. Captain Phasma. Can't wait to see what happens with Kylo Ren. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan, and with all the movies that are already announced that are going to come out, I can't wait. Can't wait. So yeah, it's not really any Star Wars spoilers then, so everybody's okay to this point. And so Jamie and I got to go together, along with his wife, to see Deadpool, which again, great movie, surprisingly so. I'm not a huge Ryan Reynolds fan, but man, I like that movie. I was pretty happy with how that one turned out. Jamie, what are your thoughts?
Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, I think he did a fantastic job as Deadpool.
In my mind, he is Deadpool.
Yeah, it fit his persona perfectly.
Yes. It seems like that's his sense of humor, like to a T. His delivery, just his natural voice, the way he talks and the way he delivered Deadpool are one and the same.
Well, and it matched the comic book. Like, there was no holding back.
No, that's true. That's something we should talk about very briefly, is the fact that, Marvel let it happen. They didn't say, hey, can you make this PG-13? No, rated R, and deservingly so rated R. They did such a good job with that movie. There were numerous times that I laughed so hard I was crying during that movie. So the funny and the serious tone of the movie both played off of each other really well, and it didn't seem super corny, which I was concerned about. I was really concerned that it would come off as just kind of too fluffy, if that makes sense. I just thought that they would ease off, and they didn't. So, yeah, I like that one too. That's another one I'd go see again. Deadpool was good. You have any other thoughts on Deadpool?
No.
All right, those were good ones. All right, Jamie, what's the funniest thing you've seen this week?
I don't know about the funniest, but it was probably one of
something you really liked.
Yeah, I have been really into the YouTube videos about how they make things and why they make things, and I have really enjoyed Adam Savage's videos.
Yeah, from Tested.
Yeah.
Tested.com. Go there. If you haven't watched videos from Tested, you were missing out. I've been watching those for a while now, and so just a quick side note on this. The interesting part about this, with Mythbusters has ended. They're still showing new episodes, but they're done filming. He's going to be doing a lot more stuff on Tested. That's him and Jamie's website. Jamie's not really he's affiliated, but he doesn't do much on the site.
Right. He has a few videos, but
this is Adam's pet project.
Yep.
That's the way I look at it. And the people that they have on there, the Norman Chen is great. The other main person, I don't know why I can't think of his name right now, but he's leaving. But Norman Chen does a great job. They have lots of really, really good videos. If you're interested in making movie props, just geek culture, it's awesome. Anyways, go ahead, James.
This video in specific is him preparing to make a replica of the spacesuit from The Martian.
Awesome movie. We did a spoiler cast on it. Go ahead back and listen to that right now. Pause and go back.
It was it was great. It was his process on how he replicates it, and he actually made out this time. The production company, I think, loaned it to him.
The studio.
It's been traveling the country. It just came back from Comic-Con, and it was great to be able to see him hands-on with the suit. and
He
how he
said,
will reproduce it.
yes, he said he got unprecedented access to the suit. And the reason he got that access is because he did ads on Tested on the podcast and on the website for the Martian Blu-ray that was coming out. That's all he had to do. And they sent the suit to him, and he got 1 day with it to take pictures and measurements and see how things were put together. And he said it was definitely worn by
Matt
Matt
Damon.
Damon. And so it's a screen used suit, and he said he's never gotten access like that before to an on-screen prop or suit. And he has an affinity for spacesuits, just so you know. But
He has an affinity for a lot of things.
yeah, he really does. And he has, he has the money to pay for all those things. But yeah, very cool. They do have a video up as well of them kind of evaluating the suit from the studio and all that as well, if you want to watch that. But yeah, that was a good one. So one of my uncle sent me a link to the helium beer test, where there's two Germans who are, I guess they taste test beers, and this one is supposed to have been bottled with helium as well. Now I don't think it's a real I don't think it's a real video, because I don't understand how when you drink the alcohol, the helium makes it to your lungs. But anyway, they talk real high pitched, and it's a funny video. I like that one. That's all I have to say about that. But it was good stuff. The helium beer test. If you want to laugh, go ahead and watch that. On to our tips, picks, tricks. Mine is Nuzzle. If you haven't heard of Nuzzle, it's an iOS and Android app that you tie to your Twitter account, and it surfaces the popular news stories for you. So what it does is, as your friends share content and stories, those things will kind of bubble up to the top of the Nuzzle feed, and you can see who shared it, how many times it's been shared. And it's really it was a good way I read some interesting stories that way. I've been using it for about 2 weeks. I like it a lot. Nuzzle, that's Nuzzel, and you can find more information at nuzzle.com. That's Nuzzel.com. Jamie, what do you got for us?
Well, I have a cable organizer that I ordered recently off Amazon. It was cheap. It was like $8 and something I paid for it. It's currently $9.59. I was really, really excited to get this in the mail. I wanted to put this in my laptop bag to cut down on the way I had been storing my cables currently.
Yeah.
I was sadly disappointed. The slots for the cables aren't big enough for a standard sized USB cable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it would fit your charging cables and small cables. It would carry your SD cards and things like that. But I was disappointed. It was well made and it looked great. It would have worked great if it would have been slightly less slots, just a little bit bigger.
Okay. So how big is it?
It says the exact dimensions are 8.8 inches by 6.1 inches.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of small.
Yeah.
And so how many cables are you looking to store in that thing?
I wanted to be able to get around 8 cables in it.
Okay.
I could cut it down to 6, and I even considered like trying to cut the slots and combine, and it just didn't work out for me.
I am going to recommend to you a Gridit.
I have a Gridit.
You have a Gridit.
Yeah.
What size Gridit do you have? Because they make 4, 6, 8, 10. I've been looking at the Gridits. I haven't purchased one yet. So for those of you listening, a Gridit is it's a rectangular little object that has elastic straps kind of woven around it across the face of the little piece of back plating, basically. And what you can do is you can use those elastic straps to kind of secure things to that backing. And they're woven in a manner that you can fit all kinds of stuff in there, and they really look interesting. They're really cheap. I just haven't bought one yet. I talked about it. One of my picks was that Amazon Basics organizer, and I still really like that. But I still think I may get one of these for cables, just because for ease of access, I think it makes more sense.
My biggest thing with the Grit was
Yeah.
there weren't. I have a little bit of OCD, and I didn't like that everything wasn't like
It's not
straight
perfectly
across.
lined up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that problem. Absolutely. I don't have that problem, so I don't worry about it. But yeah, I could see that. Now, I could have that problem. There are times that I want things to, especially if they're all the same, I want them to line up, you know. So, well, if you have a Grit, then that's not the right option. Maybe look at that Amazon one that I have. Maybe the next time we get together, I'll give it to you. You can check it out, because I like it a lot. It holds a lot of stuff. It's really good. Okay, and I see you have something down there about Sirius.
Yeah, I didn't know if I wanted to add this here or up in the deals section. I contemplated either one. I use SiriusXM in my company vehicle that I drive constantly. I am a big fan of it due to the radio content and being able to select what I want. It is kind of expensive for what you get.
Yeah.
Current price is $179.99 for a year.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
I will shut it off before I pay $179.99.
Absolutely. And you'll be well rewarded if you shut it off too.
You don't even have to go to that extent.
No, you don't.
I went through it this morning. In fact, my year was up. I called and I said, I'll cancel. I don't want to pay that price. Oh, well, let me see what I can do for you. How about $99.99, the same as you paid last year? I was like, I'm content with that. You still have to pay royalties and stuff, and it made it like $112 with taxes and royalties. Right. I was still content with that. You know, I just wanted to put this on there so nobody ever pays full price.
Absolutely. I did the same thing in my wife's car. She uses XM, and so the last time, I think we got 3 months free when we bought the car, and we ran through that, and then we paid for 6 months because we got some deal. I think it was like $39.99 or something for 6 months.
I've actually seen it for 5 months for $20.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
If you shut it off, that's what they're going to offer you.
Yeah, so we when that ran out, they came back and they wanted us to pay full price. I was like, there is no way I'm paying full price for this. So basically I got them to honor my previous deal. So I got another 6 months for like $40 or whatever. But yeah, never, ever, 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 ever pay full price for Sirius or XM. Not worth it. And you can absolutely get a better deal. Well, Jamie, I think that wraps us up for this week. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
I'm good. I think this is a great conclusion. I'm out of my beer. I'm ready for another one.
Yeah, me too. So I finished my 2014 Bigfoot Barley Wine. I'm going to go open a 2012 Bigfoot Barley Wine and do a comparison, a little taste test. Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming back. Now, I know we had a pretty long hiatus. That will not happen again. I had some things going on that I had to deal with, and thankfully my co-host has been here supporting me along the way, and that means the world to me. So thank you everyone for coming back, and just know that you will hear us again next week, and possibly the week after that from San Diego. I'm going to see if I can work out recording a podcast from San Diego. We may have to do a shorter one, but I'm going to visit some breweries out there and I'm going to want to talk about it. So thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you next week. Peace.